Latinos, famous actors, a celebrity, someone they love so much, someone they spend their money on to go watch a show, has finally disappointed them. He has finally disappointed them, and he acted like he did not literally see anything that is happening in this society. In fact, he acts like he has never been to America or he has never stayed in America. In fact, he acted like the Latino people are not his business. The only business he has right now is how he can make his money. You know, when I tell you guys that you see these celebrities, it's only God that will judge them. You think I'm joking? I'm not joking. In fact, I'm happy for Latinos. Latinos are now willing to boycott. Latinos are now realizing that, oh my God, after we spent our money on you, this is what you have to tell us. You open your mouth on national TV to say this to us is an abomination. Watch this video. I'll be back with commentaries. Credit belongs to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. And yes, I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking my videos, subscribing, commenting, sharing. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. With that being said, let's dive right into this video and I'll be back with commentaries. Let's go, guys.
Empress Royce were asked, what is the role of Latino artists when it comes to speaking out about ICE and deportations? And their answers were disappointing, to say the least. Let's run the clips.
It's a complicated question. For me, people are going through tough times. You know, obviously not everybody is a criminal in life in general. I think artists should stick to music. I just regret not focusing on what I'm here to do, which is give good music.
Let me just say, there's a reason y'all are not performing at the Super Bowl. I am so tired of Latino artists only claiming our culture when it's convenient. For money, for you to make money out of your fan. We're living a moment where Latinos are being racially targeted for how we look, for speaking Spanish, and for where we work. That's not an opinion, that's a fact, because the Supreme Court has allowed the Trump administration to use these factors for immigration stops. If your fan base is Latinos who are going through this every single day and fearing for their livelihoods, and you choose, because it's a choice, to stay silent, what you're saying is that you don't care about your fans, the same people who you're profiting from. On the other side, we have somebody like Bad Bunny who understands that music is political and constantly uses his music to speak up. And he's only gained momentum because of it, not lost it. You don't get to profit of our culture and our language and disappear when Latinos are under attack.
Role for Spanish language artists to speak out about what's going on with deportations and ICE.
I think artists should stick to music. I think it's a complicated question.
This is a wild thing to say as a Dominican.
You nasty.
Como tú eres Latino only when it's convenient for you.
Te voy a decir algo. Usted fue utilizado.
Like, you're okay with your fans spending their hard-earned money and their time on your music, but when those fans are targeted, racially profiled, and attacked for speaking Spanish, the same Spanish that's in your music, I no see nothing, I'm American. Like, then you have the audacity to say,
I don't know why SNL hasn't invited us to perform at their show.
it's super clear to see what your stance is. You're one of those Latinos.
Don't send Toby away. Toby be good for your hand, boss. Good for your hand, master.
Music has always been about the message. And the reason Bad Bunny is as big as he is because he understands this and represents not just us Puerto Ricans and our culture, but Latinos all over the world, women, and he puts light into the injustice of any system and anything that is morally unrighteous. And not just creating music about you asking women to forgive you for cheating for the millionth time.
You know we're not supposed to be doing this, right? This is a sin. We're both going to hell.
Cacho cabrón, have some self-control.
I think the conversation that a lot of Latinos are having concerning Romeo Santos' interview is a fascinating conversation because it's one of those conversations that I have been imploring Latinos to have. It is along the lines of the conversation that African Americans have when it comes to listening to what these celebrities say or what they don't say, and understanding what that actually means and what it translates to. So Romeo recently did an interview with Prince Royce, and he was asked basically different questions. And one of the conversations that he had was the lack of Latin representation, specifically Latinos from New York, representation on Saturday Night Live. And when I say Latino representation, I don't mean in the cast. I mean in the music act or the host for the show. That he feels that there are not enough New York Latino representatives that are being invited to perform in front of the Saturday Night Live audience. Now, that is a valid conversation for Romeo to have, because he was saying that he and Prince Royce are both from New York, yet they have never been invited to perform in front of the Saturday Night Live audience. And I think that we have to understand, when it comes to these different conversations, specifically when it pertains to Saturday Night Live, they invite like the most popular acts of the time, or acts that have a crossover ability aspect to them. So it's not them just inviting someone simply because the music is good, right? Because I've seen musical acts on Saturday Night Live and they suck. And also, they don't just invite you because you're an act from New York. If that were true, inarguably, Mark Anthony is a bigger celebrity than Prince Royce and Romeo Santos. But he's never performed for Saturday Night Live either. But this conversation, that Romeo was trying to have basically became null and void when the questions about politics came up. And Romeo kind of gave the answer of the "I'm not political," argument, where he basically didn't want to talk about politics, didn't want to touch it, even though it is important to pay attention to the politics of this country, because Latinos are at the forefront of a lot of the political conversations here in this country. A lot of your fans are being targeted by this administration, be it documented and undocumented, be it undocumented and natural born citizens. This administration, with the help of the Supreme Court, is allowed to racially profile you simply because you look Latino, which in a lot of these conversations means you don't belong here. And you don't want to touch that conversation. You don't want to have this conversation about what's happening to a lot of these people that could be your fans. And it becomes interesting to understand why that happens, why these types do that. A lot of them voted for Trump. We saw Nikki Jam on the stage with Trump being called that hot lady Nikki. And then he pulled his endorsement, right, when that KKK rally happened in Madison Square Garden. A lot of people finally realized that Trump was racist when he showed us again that he was racist. But for a lot of these celebrities, be it black and brown, they don't really care that he's racist because it's all about the tax cuts and tax incentives for them. They're okay with him oppressing their fans as long as he gives them the tax cuts and tax incentives that they, as wealthy people, are looking for. When this man said he didn't want to talk about politics, his fans should have got pissed off, and they should be holding him accountable, like a lot of Latinos on this app are holding him accountable. They're listening to exactly what he said when he said he didn't want to talk about it, specifically when it pertains to how Latinos are being treated in this country, a lot of these Latinos being his fan. He could have had an all-encompassing conversation about the lack of representation of Latino acts from New York on Saturday Night Live, and talked about this current administration targeting Latinos, a lot of them that could be his fans, and being racially profiled simply because they are Latino. But he pretty much said he doesn't want to talk about politics. Again, a lot of these people, these celebrities, these content creators are useless when it comes to resisting, because they would side with the oppressors the first opportunity they get because they believe that they will be protected.
Prince Royce and Romeo Santos was posed this question: should Latin artists speak out in Trump's America? Prince Royce said it's a complicated question, right? And he talks about how he's Dominican, how he's 100% Dominican, 100% American. Great. He goes into that with a whole bunch of nothing. And Romeo Santos said that music artists should stick to music. It's very disappointing to hear, right? Music and the arts in general, dance, theater, music, everything, has always been political from the beginning of its existence. There are artists till this day right now that do speak forever about what was going on politically in our environment, the things that are affecting the Latino community or really any community. To just say that you're there, that musicians should just create music, is such a form of privilege, right? That you come from privilege. While there's other people this holiday season that are not going to be with their families because they got separated by what this administration is doing. You guys had the audacity to say that this is a complicated question or that artists should stick to what they do. We don't have the luxury to do those things. And I'm glad that there's artists out there that speak on the things that are happening, that use their platform, that they use their art forms such as music, theater, dance, art to say the effects that is happening within our community. Let me know your thoughts. What do you guys think about what Romeo Santos and Prince Royce said in this interview?
It's a complicated question.
It actually isn't. Disappointment is the biggest understatement when it comes to Romeo Santos and Prince Royce talking about whether or not musicians should be speaking about politics and what is going on with ICE and families. The first thing that rubbed me the wrong way was 200% thing. I'm 100% Latino and 100% American. And don't get me wrong, I understand where that's coming from. Being Mexican American myself, I am fully Mexican and I'm also an American, unfortunately. But I will never ever proudly claim being American, because being American here, as a person who looks like me, a person with skin color like me, does not receive and does not afford the same privileges as white Americans, as blonde and blue-eyed Americans. Okay? Second, music is art. Art is political. Art is political. Art is political. What we say in our art, in our music, in our poetry, in our paintings, in our TikToks, and our videos is political. It's all political. I can't imagine building a fan base on Latinos, on the backs of Latinos, and then turning your back around and saying that you do not have a responsibility to stand up for that same community. That is a complete disservice to your community, to your fan base, to your roots, to where you come from. And there's this shared notion between Prince Royce and Romeo Santos that it is a complicated question, that there's a complicated answer because you want to be a role model for your kids. But I would argue that being a role model for your kids is to speak up for communities, especially marginalized communities, a community that you are a part of, that you have profited from. Staying silent and bowing and bending your knee to an administration because it looks bad is a choice. Those words that you used are a choice. That statement you made is a choice. Take Becky G, for instance. She's a 200%er and she proudly claims it, but she's a 200%er that actually stands up for her community, stands up against ICE, shares resources. There's a difference there. It's actually quite embarrassing for Latinos to turn a blind eye, stay quiet, and say that they have no space to talk about this, because we do. You do. You benefit from us. You benefit from the Latino community. Now is not the time to stay silent. Now is not the time to choose to be professional or the bigger person or a role model. Especially, this isn't being a role model. This is being complicit. You're being complicit. It's so embarrassing and disgusting.
Selling Prince Royce and Romeo Santos was not on my bingo card for this year, but here we freaking are. Just a couple days before the year was over, Prince Royce and Romeo Santos went out on a podcast to promote their tour next year, and they were asked about immigration. And of course, it was disappointing, but not surprising. I always say rich people will be rich people first before anything else, and they come to prove that right. In 2015, Romeo Santos said, "Fuck Cheeto Puff." He also performed in the White House when Obama was president. Now, when they asked him about it, he was just like, I had a couple drinks. I think that artists should do what artists do and just bring music. They should just focus on their art. While some people, I know, stop fucking typing. I know what you're, oh, that's true. Okay, if that's what you think, good. Personally, me, all right? In this political climate, you cannot afford to be impartial. I am not about to give you my hard-earned money to pay some tickets for somebody who doesn't stand for their fucking community. Are you fucking kidding me? Then they asked Prince Royce, what do you think about that? And he was just like, that's a very difficult question to be asked. There are many other artists who do not hesitate to show where they stand and that they support their community and that they understand where things are coming from. I think both of these people don't want to get involved in something that's so polarizing like politics. because green talks, because money talks. So they don't want to associate themselves with either side, which is fine. If you are okay with an artist doing that, good for you. On my side, I just save some money.
Today, what's my opinion about any of that? I would tell you, I think artists should stick to music.
Let's not be so naive. Anytime someone says, I don't want to get political, I'm an artist, I don't get involved in politics, they are indirectly supporting the injustice of this administration. Because to be a silent bystander and watch how these children are torn apart from their families, you are quietly approving. You are quietly giving them your thumbs up. And further, you're morally negligent. You are watching an injustice and you're choosing to do nothing. And mind you, I'm not even talking about showing up at a protest. You can do so much with your voice. When you say artists should stick to their artistry, the translation is, I support what they're doing to my community, to the people that buy the tickets to go to my concerts, to the people that have supported me all these years, have put me in the place that I am today, the success that I currently enjoy. Don't give me that bullshit that artists need to stick to artistry. Speak up. Otherwise, eres un cobarde.
This is how you go from trending to canceled. Roll the clip.
You said fuck Trump.
Yeah. No. And I'm not trying to take it back. I can't say I regret what I said in the sense that I'm always me, and there's different versions of me. If you ask me today what's my opinion about any of that, I would tell you I think artists should stick to music.
The whole Latino community is so excited and like running and buying concert tickets and so excited to see this reunion again, and you fuck it up. You fucked it up. And for what? Who is your fan base? The white people aren't the ones buying your tickets. They're not listening to your music. They don't know Aventura, pendejo.
Of a Spanish language artist to speak out on ICE and deportations. That was the question. Where is it complicated? First of all, Prince Royce. Second of all, why do you feel the need to stay in your lane when your community is being attacked every single day? People are being racially profiled, treated like shit. They could have taken this moment to really done a lot for their community. Instead, they said nothing. They decided to stay neutral because apparently that's worth more than standing up for your people. What is happening in this country to Latinos everywhere is not complicated. It is actually very fucking simple to explain. It is disgusting, it is disheartening, and it should terrify you enough to speak about it when you are asked. Personally, I did not like their responses. I thought it was whack. And why would people in their community buy their tickets when they don't even stand up for them? I'm seeing a lot of people share the same sentiment I do. In the comment section of this clip, someone said there's nothing complicated about it. Silence is compliance. Royce answered a whole lot of nothing, and Romeo essentially said he's turning a blind eye. Very fucking true. He literally was like, you know what? I'm just gonna focus on the music and that's it. Everything around me, everything that's happening to my people, fuck that. Fuck that. It's all about the music. That's all I care about. What is the—
You see that Romeo Santos and Prince Royce were asked, what is a Spanish artist's role in speaking up about what's going on with ICE? I think their answer was weak, but first, let's hear what
as a Latin artist, it's always been important to kind of represent my family, who are immigrants from the Dominican Republic, who came with a dream, who then I'm from the projects, Patterson Projects in South Bronx. Right now, it's all about just support, trying to show support to the Latin community. People are going through tough times. Obviously, not everybody is a criminal in life in general. I say I'm 200%. I feel like I'm 100% American. I'm 100% Dominican. And I wasn't born in DR. I didn't live in DR every summer, but I feel very Dominican as I feel American.
And I will say this, because I do remember that occasion. I believe that was in the Barclays.
At Barclays, and you said fuck Trump.
Yeah. No. And I'm not trying to take it back. I can't say I regret what I said in the sense that I'm always me, and there's different versions of me. If you ask me today what's my opinion about any of that, I would tell you I think artists should stick to music. I just regret not focusing on what I'm here to do, which is...
Look, these two are amazing artists who have done a lot to bring the culture and the music to the forefront. But they seem incapable of rising up to the moment. Look, Prince Royce's answer was the better one. At least he acknowledged that they're out there calling us criminals. But Romeo's artists should stick to music comments. Come on, man, even the kind of music you make is political. During Trujillo's dictatorship from 1931 to the 1960s, bachata was outlawed. Bachata was associated with prostitution, poverty, and delinquency, and was driven underground. But the artists, the Afro-Latinos, they kept it alive underground. And after Trujillo was gone by the 1980s, it had gone mainstream. You are the recipient of all that politics, all that hard work. There are a lot of political artists, but let's use Bad Bunny as a reference right now. Look how he's speaking up for his community. Not doing shows in the US or trying to keep them safe. Creating an album and a tour that help Latinos, feel empowered. Compare that, unfortunately, to how Prince Royce and Romeo Santos announced their tour with a promo video of them in jail, helping perpetuate the stereotypes again. At a time like this. Before I say this next part, know that I have been to an Aventura concert. I love Romeo Santos, Prince Royce, Aventura music. But the vibe in that place, which is nothing wrong with it, is essentially, hey, let's have fun. Let's talk about love. Let's talk about sex. That's great. We want to have a good time. But how can he expect us to relax and have fun when they are raiding our events or are planning to have ICE present at events where there are high Latino turnouts? People are even too scared to go out and unwind at a nightclub because it might be raided. Something Bad Bunny understood, which is why he said he didn't have any shows in the mainland of the United States for fear that ICE would be at his shows. So as much as I like their music, I thought their response was weak. I think they're unable to rise to the moment. But let me know in the comments what
I was fully gonna go to the Romeo Santos and Prince Royce concert, but then I just saw their interview. A little bit more mad, to be honest, especially in Romeo Santos's response, because he was asked, what is the role of Latino artists when it comes to speaking out against what is going on within their Latino audience when it comes to ICE and deportations? This man fully said he just wants to focus on the music. Why are we talking about this? We're talking about this because the music that you want to focus on is consumed by an audience that is being attacked here in the US. The community that supported you all the way from your days from Aventura to now. Prince Royce also gave a half-ass answer too, but I just don't understand. Really just don't care. For example, Bad Bunny. And one thing that people can say is that probably all artists don't care. They don't care about their audience. They don't care about giving back, whatever. Let's say that's true. At least fake it. Because let's take Bad Bunny, for example. He has been speaking up through his music, literally just speaking up against what is going on in the Latino community, and it only has made his career better. Where have you seen that his ticket prices are going down? He's literally playing at the Super Bowl in the US, but he's still speaking out against what is going on within his community. And I'm not trying to put an artist on a pedestal. I don't put any artist on a pedestal, but I just want you to take that in consideration because some people might say, oh, they're not speaking out because they're scared. They're scared of the repercussions, but I don't really see any repercussions, and maybe I'm just naive. Where we put our money matters. I know people are going to be like, it's not that deep, but if you think about it, it is that deep because our government is ran by money. And I'm not trying to say if you buy this concert ticket, you are worsening what is going on right now, but you have to think, or you have to apply this logic to everything. Our government is ran by money. And if we have the power to control where our money is going and who speaks out for us or against us, that is so important. And when it comes to this example, when artists start realizing that what they're saying and what they're not saying is affecting their pockets, is when they're going to speak up. But only when we control where our money is being spent.
Through my thoughts, wondering, should I go to the Atlanta show? Should I go to the Chicago show? Should I go to the New York show? That'd be lit. Romeo Santos made the decision for me. I would be nowhere. I would be home. Thank you.
Santos and Prince Royce basically refused to comment on ICE or Trump's deportations feels like straight up cowardice to me. And it's not because I expect celebrities to save us, but it's because people who look just like them, right? Brown men, black men, Afro-Latino men are being currently held right now in detention centers. And to be completely honest, they can afford to look away, right? They're wealthy, they're protected, they're insulated. So for them, it's so easy to say, yeah, I'm just focusing on my family and my music. Most folks don't even get that option. But I think what bothers me the most about this is that, there are some Latino men who believe that they are the exception, that they will not be impacted by systems. That after they reach a certain level of wealth and privilege, that they can just opt out of politics because it no longer affects them. Yeah, like I'm sorry, but the system does not care how famous you are when it decides who's disposable or not. Because all this does is, yeah, it alienates your community, but it's also extractive, right? You're building music on immigrant longing, on love, on diaspora, and turning your back on that same community that's being impacted by these ICE raids, by all these deportations. It's insane. At the end of the day, people aren't asking you to be an activist when it comes to raising awareness about what ICE is doing. They're just asking you not to turn your back on your own community. And just one last parting thought, but silence during moments like this isn't neutral, right? It tells us exactly who you think you're safe from. And
I received this comment on my Instagram, and this is from DJ Babyface, who's worked with Romeo Santos a few times. And this is what it says. I'm going to only read some of it, but if you want to read all of it, here it is. Screenshot is a long one, right? But I just want to read a few things. It says, as an artist, Romeo is correct because there's always two sides. And as an artist, you're picking a side will hurt your career, so it's best to stick to what you do best, which is music. You not a politician, you a musician. No matter what you say, America or whoever is in charge is going to do whatever they want. If not, look how it killed Kanye's career. It's nice to sit behind a phone and judge, but you are not going to do anything by saying an opinion on politics. All you're going to do as an artist is affect your career, which since childhood you sacrifice all your life to build, and you're going to throw that all away in seconds on a comment you said on TV. He keeps going, all that. He also talks about Cardi B and how she lost fans after, she spoke on politics. Should Latin artists speak out in Trump's America? My answer will always be yes. Because it's not about did you vote Democrat, did you vote Republican? It is a human right issue. Do you care about what's happening to humans? I don't know how this is so complicated to answer. Right? First, we are always human. And second, we are our occupation, right? So you're human first, and then you're an artist. And then there's people out there that go, damn if you do, damn if you don't. Listen, if you stay neutral, if you don't stand for anything, you fall for everything.
Anyways, I hope for seeing all of that. Cheers to every one of you Latinos out there that have literally not supported Black people, but right now you are understanding what it means to be forsaken. Cheers to every one of you. Because you people have now seen what it means to be forsaken. You people are now seeing what it means to be left alone. Imagine an actress being on a podcast, on a live podcast for that matter, and they are going to ask you, what do you think about what is happening? You have the right to ignore all of that issues that is trending. And what is more important to you is how you're going to concentrate. An actress should concentrate on the music, blah, 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 east, west, and the south. Making it look like you don't care about your society, you don't care about your community. In fact, you literally do not care about what they go through. But these people has been spending their money. These people has been spending their hard-earned currency just to watch your show, just to support you. Now, a lot of people are boycotting them, especially Latinos. Latinos are saying if they really acted like this, it simply means we don't have any business with them. Because if people talk like this, people who talk like this, simply means they are supporting the wrong side. If they are literally supporting the right side and they know what is right and they know every single thing that they are supposed to do, they will not come on live show and act as if they don't have any answers to give. I so much love this person that actually hosted this podcast because he made a lot of Latinos to see. In fact, even some Black Americans that will even go subscribe, even get tickets for them to attend, listen to their album. He made a lot of them to realize that these people are literally not worth it. I keep saying it. You are the celebrity of yourself. Yeah, that's the honest truth. So boycott whosoever you want to boycott, because at the end of the day, when it's out, they will not stand for you. You can see that was last week where you see Nicki Minaj What did she literally do? Nicki Minaj has the guts, the audacity to go ahead on. She went for Turning Point. She went for Turning Point America, USA, or Turning Point America, whatever. Sitting down laughing as if nothing has ever happened. Sitting down with the best widow in the whole wide world. I'm not saying she should not, right? Everybody have their ways of doing things. But you have to first of all look out for the people that are at least putting food on your table. Just like the same way that Nigerian artists, anything, even if my country mess up, I will say it. That Nigerian artist, Burna Boy, just like the same way you think you can just come to America, kick anybody out of his show because the lady is sleeping. So you have to kick her out of his show. And at the end of the day, he literally saw the repercussion that comes with that. A lot of people boycotted him. So if you're a celebrity, you don't act as if what's happening in the society is not your business. It is your business. In fact, you own your fan that loyalty to be able to stand, to be able to support, to be able to say one or two things. But a lot of them will act as if they don't even see what is happening. They don't care. They don't talk about it. Even if they go on live show, let me just go and make my money. Making money is what is more important to me. Blah, blah, blah. Now, instead of you making more money because you think that you saying all of that will fetch you more money, it's not bringing you backward. It's not bringing you not only backward, it's not making a lot of people to boycott your album, boycott a lot of things that you do. You did it to yourself. I did not ask you to, so I'm gonna just do that one more time. Vitamilk is the best drink you should have when you want to cheers to something you're happy about. Go buy this and thank me later. Anyways, let me know what you think. Credit belongs to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Subscribe, like this video, drop me your comments. And lastly, do not forget to share for every other person to get this good news. And yes, guys, with that being said, with no further ado, I don't add like policy in my videos. I'm going to be saying bye and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys.